Group A as far as goals scored are concerned, but if you compare that to the amount of goals they've conceded, which is 0, gives them the best goal difference. So which would you choose?
I think Simba know that the record they're holding is indeed quite impressive. No goals conceded, 3 goals. I mean, it's a 300% return for them. So far, so good.
Hey! Berhan coming under scrutiny from Saidi once again. Another free kick going the way of Red Sea, but with just 8 minutes to play before half-time, there's nothing has come from Red Sea whatsoever in the encounter so far. As far as opportunities on goal, Ogba Gabriel out towards the far side. This is Emmanuel once again. Jacob Emmanuel has started every time for Red Sea in the tournament so far, but there have been times where he hasn't been on the pitch very long, and now the referee goes across to the protection of Aaron Zacharias, I think, who's been bundled over very harshly in the middle of the park, and the man that might have done that is Mafisango, I think.
Yes, indeed, Mafisango very, very strongly charging into Zacharias. Zacharias feeling the full brunt of his weight on the ground there. Will roll around, but I'm sure he'll be back on his feet. The referee actually calling from the stretcher, but one thing we must remember, Kevin, is that these players have played 4 games. This is the 4th game they're playing, so the bodies are actually taking a bit of toll.
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. I mean, if you take the for Simba, they played on Saturday, then they had a 4-day break. They played on Wednesday, Friday. They play on Sunday again. And for Red Sea, it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and now Sunday.
Certainly a hard challenge on Tedros there, Zacharias from Mafisango. Mafisango has been very industrious in this game. I mean, he's been running all over in the pitch, filling in the space, the place of Jerry Evans Santos, and showing that he is certainly equal to the task.
A couple of players that aren't in the starting lineup for Simba today. Juma Yoso in the centre of defence. Jerry Santos, of course, Amidi Risho at left back. Haruna Moshi up front as well, and Solomon Mochaku. So 5 regulars who have been in the tournament and contributed to the success of Simba so far, been given a bit of a rest, and perhaps rightly so, judging from what we've not seen from Red Sea today in this encounter. As the ball again is poached away without too much trouble by Derek Walulia.
Yes, and that is what you call actually a very strong bench. Indeed, it is Coach Moses Basana's trick of wanting to finish strong if indeed he needs to bring in the regulars onto the game later in the second half.
Fisimai finds Emmanuel. Now there's an opportunity through the middle for Tedros. Said almost gets a touch on it. That's all come to naught eventually, and a long angled run from Emmanuel across the face of the Simba penalty area comes to absolutely nothing.
Well, it's certainly taking him about 40 minutes to find his feet in this game. I mean, he hardly had touches in this game, but in the last 5 minutes or so, Jacob Emmanuel has certainly found movement within the pitch.
Simba still largely untroubled by whatever the Red Sea side have been able to throw at them over the course of the opening 40 minutes of the match, because there are just 5 minutes remaining in regulation time in the first half here at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam, a match that hasn't risen to any great competitiveness because Simba are having most of the attempts and Red Sea very defensive over the course of the 40 minutes so far that we've experienced here. This man's been impressive. Mwakingwe.
Yes, Mwakingwe coming back very rejuvenated into this game. I mean, he missed the last game, but it looks much fresher. Darting runs on the left run. Suddenly, I mean, he would be an inspiration to Simba.
Space down the right-hand side suddenly for Salum Kononi. Turns the favour over to the near side. Mwakingwe. Will he be unselfish? He certainly is. There's a chance here for Atumanidi. Blocked by Jacob Tekia. Was it as a foul? Would have been the latter. Back it comes with the Mwakingwe once again. Space at the far post for the volley. And again, the Red Sea defence able to knock it away. I think it was Henok Burr who cleared. He had been included in the starting lineup. Henok Burr in the place of Isaias Tekle.
So certainly the left back in the right place at the right time to clear that challenge from Simba. And Simba with a free kick there, starting off quickly, trying to get things moving quickly. And it is that man on the left flank, Ulimboka Mokwinge, with the ball.
Mokwinge, but fancy this time. The outside of the right boot finds the top of the net.
Yes, the quickly taken free kick from Walulia finds Mokwinge on the left flank, and he with one man to beat and looking to see where the goalkeeper is, attempts a cheeky chip, but finds the top of the net. Some good trickery, some good footwork, and good vision from him. Enterprise from Simba, very entertaining in their play.
The supporters from the Simba side absolutely delighted with their side's situation. All of the hard work coming to fruition in the group. Forward now by Derek Walulia, who's well spotted the danger from a long way out by the Red Sea defenders. Enoch Burr really has risen to the occasion in this encounter. It's his first start for Red Sea in the tournament. The Ocean View team must be wondering what it is they would have needed to have achieved. And of course, a win against Vitolo would have been the answer to that, because having lost that encounter, they probably have lost the opportunity to play in the quarterfinals of this encounter. It'll be probably disappointing for supporters from Tanzania and from Zanzibar. This is Tedros. Now Berhan. Easy as you like. There's absolutely no willingness to push forward whatsoever. And what did the referee spot from there? The players seem a little confused, but we continue. Ball pushed inside by Mgosi. Now Saeed. This is Walulia. Time ticking down towards halfway in this encounter, and Simba not complaining at all, because with Red Sea have seemed to have gone into a little bit of a lull at the moment, so have done since the whistle blew to start this encounter. Simba not threatened in any way at all.
Well, Simba looking to finish strong, certainly putting pressure on the Red Sea half. I mean, they're laying siege in the half. Unlucky not to have found a goal yet, but certainly the intentions are seen here. They are putting pressure on Red Sea. They want to camp in the Red Sea half. You can see surging runs coming from Derek Walulia, the central defender. He also wants to get back into the action. Pushing forward, pushing the midfield forward. The strikers need to find ways of breaking down that Red Sea defense, and a goal before the break would be a good return.
The weather conditions outside cooling down just a little as we get into the late afternoon. So the venom of the sun over the course of the earlier match just losing some of its strength out in the middle of the park. The players will no doubt be very grateful for that, as once again pushing forward is Kevin Yondani. Ball knocked away by Jakob Tekie. Tedros goes back to Zacharias, who seems to have recovered from the knock that he took against Patrick Mafisango earlier on during the course of the first half. So this half goes into stoppage time then, with just 1 minute about to be added by the match referee, Mr. Dennis Bate from Uganda. Simba 0 and Red Sea 0. And if it all ends up being a goalless draw, it will be the second goalless draw for Simba. They'll remain unbeaten. And if it's goalless, they will be the only side to have gone through the whole group stages without conceding a goal, only scoring 3 in the process, but not conceding in 4 matches. They'll move up to 8 points. Red Sea will move into second place above Vitolo. Into second spot, Vitolo down to third. Ocean Boys, or Ocean View, I beg your pardon, will be heading off across the straits to Zanzibar.
Yes, indeed. Quickly taken free kick by Simba, trying to see if they could get a goal just before the break. We are deep into stoppage time, and a cross from Said Nasoro Said, but the delivery of that and execution of that cross, poor indeed.
So the final whistle then comes from the referee out in the middle of the park. He wants the ball from the goalkeeper of Red Sea, Daniel Goitom, has had a couple of saves to make over the course of the first 45 minutes. We haven't seen any goals. We've seen one-way traffic from Simba without them being able to find the back of the net. Perhaps a little bit of frustration in the Red Sea camp as Henok Burr, the centre-back, has a chat to the Ugandan match referee. But everything going absolutely according to plan for Simba. It's going according to plan for Red Sea as well. Because Red Sea, if they lose this match, they have a chance to lose out on a quarter-final berth. They're not pushing hard for goals. They certainly are pushing back and keeping Simba at bay with great effect so far. The National Stadium at Dar es Salaam is where we are, getting into the late afternoon. Just one half remaining before we come to the end of the group stages. This man has been rather ineffective over the course of the match so far, Jacob Emmanuel. Do we see a change of tactics from Red Sea in the second half and them pushing hard for the victory? The fans will be hoping not, of course. We do hope to see some goals in the second half of this encounter, because we have had 67 in the tournament so far. And if we don't have any goals at all, it'll be the second match involving Simba that is played to a goalless draw. So at half-time then, Simba 0, Red Sea 0, opportunities mostly going the way of Simba. Are we going to see a resurgence from Red Sea in the second half? Join us in a few minutes.
Yes, indeed, it is goalless here at the Benjamin Mkapa National Stadium. Simba, as it stands, go through top of the group, and of course a good result for Red Sea if they can keep it at a draw. But Red Sea, a victory, of course, will change the complexion of this. As we stand, though, it is Simba, Red Sea, and Vital O who are going to go through. Remember, Simba and Vital O, the only two teams that have played out to a goalless draw, so it is not totally write-off that a goal will be seen here. It could easily go to a goalless draw or probably even a 1-1 draw. That depends on the first 45 minutes. This has been a half of all Simba, attack after attack, and of course Red Sea, for the first time in this tournament, we're seeing a more defensive display because a point is good enough for them. But can they come out and completely secure? It is in their hands. We will find out in the second half. Quick break right now. When we come back, highlights of the first half, which were plainly for Simba.
excitement hasn't really got off to the start we should have expected here at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam between Simba of Tanzania and Red Sea in the final group match of Group A. Simba and Red Sea level at 0-0 at half-time. The excitement hasn't really built up the way we anticipated it was. It's not really a competition out there. Well, the fans have come in their numbers to watch Simba making it through as the top side in Group A, and then perhaps a potential match against Bunamwaya come Tuesday afternoon. But a match devoid of goals so far, Herbert.
Yes, I mean, they're flocking in their numbers. I think they're actually settled knowing that they're very much in the quarterfinals. But the action did start in the beginning of the game, and immediate attack on sort of David Daniel Goitam's goal, and he was equal to the task.
Yeah, not much of a problem as far as that is concerned. Mboko Makingwe playing for the third time in the tournament for Simba. There were more chances. Mafisongo creating a chance on the far side for Salom Kononi, the right back. First time ball into the area, and a horrible miscue in defence from Asafau created a chance for Simba that they weren't able to take.
Yes, and Ngosi knew, I mean, he kicked it with his right foot, but had he actually tried to just touch it with his left foot, it may have been a different story at that end of the net.
Unfortunately not able to add to the one goal that he scored in the competition so far, but the match continued. A free kick not successful on that occasion by Mohamed Banka, but Banka had an absolutely fabulous half, I must say, and very close to opening the account.
Yes, I mean, on the return of that successful free kick, Banka gave a rising shot. I mean, he had the target in sight, but it was just going slightly over. I mean, just grazed the crossbar. I mean, Solomon Goitam also showing agility.
The opportunities for Red Sea were few and far between, but to revert to long-range efforts, and Juma Kasecha not being tested from that range by Zacharias.
No, that was never going to trouble Kasecha, who's had a very relatively clean sheet in this tournament and is continuing to do so as the tournament progresses.
It was all pretty one-sided as far as possession was concerned, and opportunities at the goal of Red Sea were coming thick and fast, and here's Saeed, who really got his power behind that one.
Yes, it's only a matter of time before Saeed announced his arrival in the game. I mean, he loves shooting, and that was another opportunity for him. Didn't hit the target, but signal to Goitam that he definitely will be testing him as the game goes on.
As the first half pushed along, so did the opportunities continue to increase for the Simba side, and again there was space on the far side for Kanoni. Set it up, and a wonderful opportunity, and it should have been better struck from that point of view. Bunker once again denied by Daniel Goitom.
Yes, I mean, it was actually a very good constructive build-up by Simba. I mean, by the time the ball got to Bunker, Bunker should have done better with that ball, but Goitom was standing tall between the posts.
Red Sea is all at 6s and 7s on that particular occasion, and the side footer not bothering the Red Sea goalkeeper, but he continued to create opportunities. He doesn't look that frustrated either. Then a quickly taken free kick added to the problems of Red Sea, although it didn't manage to break the deadlock for the Tanzanian champions. And Wakingwe causing all sorts of problems, and a lovely little flick wasn't able to test Daniel Goitom.
Yes, Wakingwe trying something different. I mean, this time deciding not to beat the man, but looking to see where Goitom was, and a deft chip, just finding the roof of the net. Should have gone in, but that one this time for Wakingwe, unlucky not to go in.
So what a half it's been. It's Simba mostly on the attacks. Red Sea very, very defensive indeed. As you can see, only one shot that was off target from Red Sea. That came from Aaron Zacharias. At the same time, Simba creating 2 shots on target, 4 off target. And the referee not having to have any discipline whatsoever because the play has been rather static. Simba enjoying the balance of the play. And we do wait to see whether there are any goals forthcoming in the course of the second half, because it's 0-0 at half-time in Tanzania. We welcome you back to the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The final group match in Group A, the final group match of the tournament then, the Sakafa Kagame Castle Cup for 2011. It's goalless at half-time between Simba and Red Sea. Not the most inspirational match we've seen from Red Sea in the tournament so far. And if they do continue to play to a goalless draw here against Simba, then they could find themselves in second spot in a match against another Tanzanian side, Yanga. And that will be most incredible for them. They'll play Yanga on Wednesday afternoon in the late match if they are to qualify in this position. And that'll, of course, push Vital down into third spot in the group. And they'll take on the Ethiopian giant St. George in a quarter-final as well. Of course, St. George, the top qualifier in Group C. So we do have a substitution that's about to take place, and well, the numbers are upside down, but don't worry, we know what it's about. It's number 12 that's come on and number 14 that's gone off. So Sijan Kina makes way, and on in his place is going to come Salum Machaku, who's a very, very influential winger.
Yes, a very, very influential winger did, and the second half kicks off with the referee Dennis Bate kicking us off.
Machaku gets his first touch since his introduction, and well, the attacking was very, very firm from Simba during the course of the first half. Goalless going into the second period, and already Machaku with an opportunity. Now he waits at the back post, calls for the ball. Machaku knocks it inside, gets a second bite at the cherry.
Yes, Salom Machaku showing his intent. A very tactical substitution by coach Moses Basena. I think just wants to add a bit of attacking spark in the Simba side. I mean, he knows the draw is good for him, but at the back of his mind, I think he does not want to finish second to set up an early meeting with the Yanga in this tournament.
Well, it's still a possibility, because if Red Sea manage to win this encounter, it'll push Simba down to second spot, and exactly the opportunity that you're talking about. Throw-in, says referee Dennis Pate. Hasn't had to get involved in any disciplinary action in the middle of the park because Red Sea have not been all that competitive. Simba certainly coming out for the second half and looking as if they want to play even a little bit more attack frame minded as they were during the first half.
Yes, I think they do want to continue with that same motion. I mean, attacking and laying siege on this Red Sea god. I mean, a goal certainly now for them would actually do good, and they just keep them in a very, very comfortable pole position in this group.
Well, the way things stand at the moment, as you said, Simba against Bunambwaya in the quarterfinals. Red Sea against Yanga, Vitalo against St. George. It doesn't get any easier. Don't forget that in the quarterfinals there's no extra time if there is a stalemate. There's 90 minutes and penalties. Ball into the area, opportunity not well taken. Flying into the penalty area there, Mohamed Banka, who has been a threat throughout the course of the match, doing a pirouette, but not been able to find any further stature than that. Sango waiting at the edge of the penalty area. Play coming from the left wing this time. Good defense from Red Sea will stop the damage with the Flemon Tsege man who makes the clearance.
Yes, Olimboko Makungu hoping the referee will actually favor him and give him a free kick, but Dennis Bate, the Ugandan man in charge of this game, not having any of that unwavering play on. But it's still Simba in possession, and Simba yet to launch another attack on the Red Sea goal.
So we haven't had any improvement on the 67 goals, which was the tally coming out of the previous encounter, which saw Vitalo surprising Ocean View by winning by a goal to nil. If you just joined us, it was a penalty that came in the 4th minute of the match, and Vitalo going on to win that encounter, pick up 3 points and give them a great opportunity to play in the quarterfinals. Could be third place, it could be a second position depending on what happens in this encounter. Simba looking for the points, but if it's only one, that means that Red Sea will play in the quarterfinals, coming out of second spot in Group A, and Vitalo will move into third spot but still qualify.
Yes, just looking on the bench there of Red Sea. I mean, we've been seeing Daniel Yohannes standing in as coach, but today, back in charge of the team, we see Ephraim Towolde of Eritrea today very much here and making his presence felt as coach on the Eritrean bench.
Well, they arrived late for the tournament, but I'll tell you what, they put up a brave performance, and the way things are going, we'll see them again during the course of the quarterfinals, which will be rather nice. So as we said, the quarterfinals will be played over 90 minutes, and straight into penalties if there's a stalemate. Semi-finals will have extra time. The final will also have extra time if required, of course. But the losers' final traditionally will just be 90 minutes and penalties as well. So 5 out of the 8 matches will go straight 90 minutes and penalties. Ball up here in the middle of the park to Musa Ngosi. He's got his back to goal, and there's everybody behind the ball except for Binyan Fisimai, the captain of Red Sea, who's alone on the halfway line. This is Emmanuel. We have to see a little bit better of Emmanuel through the course of the second half, because the first half was disappointing, and that's a handball from Binyan Fisimai.
Yes, Binyan Fisimai definitely putting that hand to the ball. I mean, it was not ball to hand, it was actually hand to ball. The referee spot on with that call. A bit frustrated, you can see Binyan on his face, but nevertheless, the play continues.
Well, it's almost normal service resumed as far as this encounter is concerned, because Simba continue to be the side that are looking to apply the pressure in Red Sea, everybody behind the halfway line not doing anything at all to try and test these Simba goalkeeper, and a ball over the top from Mapisango is not going to cause any problems either. A strange match we're seeing at the moment, and it does bear mentioning that traditionally in a football tournament the final group matches will be played at the same time. And if that were to be the case, I wonder if we'd be seeing a different approach from Red Sea, who of course know what the result was in the match between Vital and Ocean View, and they know that all they have to do is play to a draw to finish in second place in order to play against Yanga during the quarterfinals. It seems just a little contrived to a degree, but that's the way the tournament has been organised.
Well, Red Sea knowing that they do have to play for a draw, but Simba may have other ideas and may want to actually improve on the goal-scoring record. As coach Moses Basena said, they do aim for improving in this tournament, and every game is looking for improvement for them. I mean, they need to get better. To be at the top of this tournament, they need to play much, much better, so they cannot afford to take things lightly, any game coming their way.
Well, if that is to be the case, and Simba win by 2-0, then Red Sea could suddenly find themselves in serious trouble and bowing out of the competition, because that would allow Ocean View to leapfrog over them on goal difference. So that is still a possibility. The new man, Machaku, looks for a bit of involvement. Look out forward, far forward, Derek Waluli is from his centre-back position, but now he's caught out of place, and there's a chance here. Kevin Yonjani is the only man back. And it's a poor ball through the middle for Zacharias. Timing wasn't that good, I must say. Still, the pressure will continue. Binian Fisimai.
Certainly that shot from Binian Fisimai, was it Zacharias? And Zacharias is not going to trouble in goal. Juma Kaseja have been looking to attack, but not having the numbers or even the ideas and ingenuity to threaten this Simba rearguard.
Machaku kept at bay by Hanok Per, stand-in defender for Red Sea today in the absence of Isaias Tekle. There doesn't seem to be any great flourish or threats or emotion on the bench of Red Sea at the moment, going through the motions, hoping that Simba don't open their account, and then claiming their place in the top two of Group A. Very strange performance, but it's all working out very nicely for the Eritreans at the moment, and Simba aren't able to fight their way back into contention. However, having said that, they are going to introduce another striking man, Simba at the moment. Moses Basena warming up Rajavu Isihaka on the touchline. I'm sure Isihaka's grabbed a goal in this tournament as well. Not yet. He's only played once as a substitute. Ball flicked away by Jakob Tikiet. Still the pressure will come from Machaku to the far post. Two players getting in each other's way, arguably, from Simba, and the danger is averted. And the man is going to come off is Atuman Idi, and I must say we haven't really seen too much of Idi in the encounter so far. So midfielder being sacrificed for an out-and-out striker, and Isihaka being sent on to try and assist Musa and Goshi into opening the account here.
Yes, Idi going off will not be too pleased with this performance. I mean, a lot has been expected of Idi. I mean, he is known to be a midfield linchpin in Tanzanian soccer, but so far the two games he's played for Simba, he's been quite lukewarm, but only I guess it's about of getting back into shape, back into fitness, and settling within a new team, getting to the pattern. And remember, when he left, Moses Basena was not the coach, so this is indeed playing under another coach.
Akbar Gabriel giving the ball away, rescues the matter for Red Sea. You can see the body language of the Red Sea side, though, is just flapping the ball over the halfway line. Not anything really too industrious, although Fisimai now does link up on the far side, tracked all the way by Kevin Yondani. Not a great deal of support out there for the captain of the Red Sea team. And Yondani has done the job that was required. Now, no offside flag up against Musa and Gossi. not able to control either, because just in the nick of time, Jakob Tekia gets a flick on it. Is the match threatening to warm up a little? Because it does seem as if we're just about to change into second gear for the first time in about 55 minutes.
Yes, indeed, Kevin, you are right. The game suddenly coming into life just 10 minutes into the second half. I don't know if both teams will be able to sustain that momentum, but who knows? If they do move into second gear, yes, then we could be in shock for a thriller in the making.
Well, not quite the intensity that we saw yesterday, because that match yesterday, arguably the match of the tournament so far between Yanga and Bunamwaya, which Yanga won in the dying moments through that Davison Wape goal, you'll remember clearly. And having won the first half by 2-0 Yanga, they succumbed to Bunamwaya's attack in the second by the same scoreline, and it all was very evenly balanced up until the final whistle. Before Mwape snuck in with goal number 66 of the tournament and sent Yanga to the top of Group B, ahead of El Marek and Bunamwaya, who slipped down into third place. Keeper Kaseja called interaction for almost the first time in the half. As a foul clears back to Goitom.
Interesting enough, Kevin, the team that actually finishes the top in this pool will be called back into action on Tuesday, just giving them a one-day break, while finishing actually third in this pool sees you back, and second sees you playing on Wednesday. So there is an advantage, at the same time maybe a slight disadvantage, and this has been the 5-team pool where legs have been struggling to the end.
Yeah, one wonders if that's not going to take its toll later on in the competition, where you have to go through the knockout stages, and the psychology of playing in a league format and playing in a cup-style competition is very different indeed. Because in a league format, you can, of course, sit back and, as Simba are doing at the moment, or maybe even Red Sea probably more the culprits in sitting back the way they are to accumulate the 1 point that'll secure them second place in Group A. In a knockout game, can't do that. Long-range effort coming here from Walulia. Goitom saw it late.
Yes, indeed, Walulia surging in front. He's been very enterprising in this game. He's been pushing forward, and this time Goitom severely challenged. I mean, a great long-range effort. Goitom seeing it late and saving his goal. Very unorthodox save, by the way. He actually kicked it out.
Very unorthodox is correct. This is Mafisango. And it almost bounces off the top of the crossbar. Well, it did bounce off the top of the crossbar. So Goitom coming under some scrutiny. He had that covered, seemingly.
Yes, I'm talking about the crossbar. There was an argument that any time the ball hits the crossbar or the sidebar, I mean, it should be awarded as a goal.
Well, I suppose that can only be because of the thin construction of the crossbars, and of course the accuracy it would take to hit the framework of the goal. But well, if you're going to be that accurate, why can't you hit an 8-yard goal, for goodness sake?
Absolutely. I mean, we have seen goals. I mean, it's just about, it's like those who want the crossbar to be raised higher. But the game of football, in that is, it is beautiful, remains the same. Hasn't undergone much changes as other games in recent years.
You always see tinkering of the rules in cricket and rugby. The other major sports have the sort of things that happen. The game of football has stayed rather as it is for a while, maybe with the introduction of different formats of the game of football. Beach soccer, of course, which is going to have a World Cup finals, and will take place in Italy from the 1st to the 11th of September, which has representation from South Africa, Senegal and Nigeria. So Nigerians really doing well. I saw the Nigerian lasses playing against Germany, I think it was, in the Ladies World Cup just a little while ago, a couple of days ago. He lost by a 0-0, but a good performance as the first chance in anger from Tedros, and it's rather hit and hope without any great deal of a flourish.
Well, the challenge for modern football is that technology. I mean, there is a school of thought that is pushing for the introduction of goal line technology, and there are the purists. I mean, Sepp Blatter being one of them, who insists that football needs to remain in its pure form. I mean, just in the recently concluded Champions League and Europa League, the introduction of goal line assistance is actually being tried to see whether it can work better instead of improving and including goal line technology.
Well, technology is always going to be under scrutiny. I know there is the referral system in cricket that the Indian Cricket Board is not willing to embrace at the moment. So whenever India are playing test matches or one-day internationals, T20s, there's all sorts of stuff happens in cricket. They don't want the referral system. Other national unions are quite happy to have technology play a part. And I suppose in some instances it'll count against the Indians when decisions don't go their way when they anticipate it. And it'll be the same as goal line technology. When the technology is absolutely perfectly exploited and can come into the game of football, and I can't imagine Sepp Blatter is going to be around forever. It's got to happen at some stage, surely.
Well, having said that, Kevin, this tournament hasn't seen any
opportunity of goal. Just momentarily, it goes over the top, so no problem as far as that's concerned. It's a Makingwe again.
It's a good build-up there. The new man is Ihaka contributing, and Makingwe being found in that position, but the shot always going up. And
substitution from a Simba point of view. We'll see the introduction of Haruna Moshi for Musa Ngosi. Comes on for the first time as a sub in the tournament so far, where he's played all 3 matches up to now in the starting lineup. Haruna Moshi, and another attacking player on.
Well, Boban, as is popularly known amongst the fans, is indeed a warm welcome, and they do know now that Simba have a player with an eye for goal, and actually signals the intent that Coach Moses Basana isn't actually settling for the draw. He's actually going for a win, and he's brought on 2 players with an eye for goal, certainly looking for that one exclusive goal that Simba haven't scored so far.
Tedros trying to push forward again. The ball's eluded him completely, picked up by Machaku. And then straight back into the camp of Red Sea. It's Ogba Gabriel, Tedros. Now suddenly the ball slotted through out towards the left-hand side, but not able to reach Emmanuel. We had a thought we were discussing the FIFA president just moments ago, and we might have had a thought about him not being around forever.
Yes, but remember, football will be around forever, and certainly the game in its pure form is still appreciated. Thank God in this tournament we haven't had any situations where technology has been called to focus.
Kibron and then Mariam is going to come on for Jacob Emmanuel. So a change made by Red Sea. It's their first of the encounter so far. Ephraim Tawelde making a change out on the wing. Perhaps a more direct route is required. But he's been a bit of a passenger today. Not for the first time in the match, I must say. It's not the greatest of tournaments he's had. He scored a goal, Jacob Emmanuel, and at stages he shows some lovely skill as the shot goes over the crossbar from the near side from the man who's only just come on.